We are back for our midweek NFL DFS update, and we are making several key reversals off yesterday's holds. So here is what changed and why. At quarterback, we are moving off yesterday's Baker Mayfield leverage and back to Jalen Hurts at 6,600 against the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall at opponent rank 29. He carries a dash rank of 100, a projection of 22, that aligns with his 22 fantasy points per game, and recent logs of 27, 22, and 20, all while sitting at just 4.6% owned. The Y is a better blend of ceiling, stability, and leverage than we had yesterday. Ownership has condensed elsewhere, and this is the cheapest we have seen Hurts with this kind of matchup all season. The news cycle is supportive for stacking his passing ceiling as well. ESPN's Adam Schefter, via Essentially Sports, reported there is no A.J. Brown trade, which stabilizes Hurts' top target. The Week 7 Superlatives piece also labeled Hurts' outing a perfect game, and while another article cited an anonymous coach pointing at A.J. Brown amid a reported rift, that only reinforces that the volume will stay concentrated. Yesterday, we preferred Baker for price-adjusted leverage. Today, Hurts at sub 5% in a soft overall matchup is our preferred tournament anchor. We are keeping Dylan Gabriel as the large field salary saver at 4,200 versus New England, who have a tough defense overall at opponent rank 10. He projects 14 with recent 16, 9, and 6 at about 3.8% ownership. The Y is unchanged. This is strictly cost relief with projections still not fully reliable because he has not started more than 3 games. News remains oddly bullish for a punt. Terry Bradshaw praise, Dan Patrick pushing back on the narrative, and write-ups of his first home win, even amid officiating chatter about refs bailing him out. Used sparingly, running back is a reversal back to ceiling. We are moving off yesterday's Cam Scatterbo value stance and back onto Jonathan Taylor at 9,500 versus Tennessee, who have one of the worst defenses overall at opponent rank 22. Taylor has a dash rank of 100, a projection of 26, 27 fantasy points per game, and a recent 34, 27, and 32, with ownership around 29.37%. The Y is touch count-driven dominance, with slate-breaking consistency in a favorable overall matchup. The news supports the thesis, with Week 7 superlatives highlighting his dominance, another piece flatly stating the running back cannot be stopped, and a Hemi Award debate including his name. We are comfortable eating the ownership because his combination of workload and efficiency is separating. Yesterday we chased salary relief. Midweek, our builds can accommodate Taylor without sacrificing ceiling elsewhere. For deep value only, Kyle Monangai at 4,900 versus Baltimore, who have one of the worst defenses overall at opponent rank 31, is a viable tournament pivot at 2.57%. He projects 6 with 6 fantasy points per game and a recent 17-point spike. The Y is price plus matchup plus a rising roll after his welcome to the NFL moment noted in the news. Touch count is still volatile, so this remains a large field dart. We are holding Jamar Chase at 8,100 against the Jets, who have one of the worst defenses overall at opponent rank 24. He carries a dash rank of 100, projects 20 with 23 fantasy points per game, and is on a heater of 41, 25, and 32, now at 16.37% ownership. The Y has not changed. Alpha usage with slate-breaking yards after catch and deep work. News is supportive with DFS analyst Mike McClure, highlighting him and multiple pieces, noting he matched Jimmy Smith's mark. We remain overweight because the price and ownership are still reasonable for the ceiling. We are keeping Marvin Mims Jr. as our value receiver at 3,900 versus Dallas, who have the absolute worst defense overall at opponent rank 32. He projects 8 with recent 16, 5, and 4 and near zero ownership. The Y is unchanged. Downfield leverage against the absolute worst defense overall at a salary that opens builds. The Sporting News Sleepers piece keeps him in the conversation, and the preseason narrative that he has yet to unlock his potential adds asymmetric upside for tournament's tight end is a reversal back to savings. We are moving off yesterday's Tyler Warren and back onto Evan Engram at 4,100 versus Dallas, who have the absolute worst defense overall at opponent rank 32. Engram has a dash rank of 100, projects 9 with 8 fantasy points per game, and recent 9, 10, and 13 at just 4.1% ownership. The Y is price-adjusted volume with red zone paths in the best overall defensive matchup you can ask for. Newsflow backs the role, and talent with Ian Rappaport calling him a star Pro Bowl-type signing, and CBS Sports listing him among early free agency winners for Denver. We prefer the savings and matchup to rebalance our builds around Jonathan Taylor. If you need a stone minimum punt, Drew Sample at 2,500 versus the Jets, who have one of the worst defenses overall at opponent rank 24, projects 2 with 1.07% ownership. The Y is routes at the minimum in a soft overall matchup for salary unlocks. Only flex is a pivot back to an elite touch profile. We are moving off yesterday's Devonta Smith value and back to Bijan Robinson at 8,800 versus Miami, who have one of the worst defenses overall at opponent rank 28. Bijan carries a dash rank of 100, projects 24 with 26 fantasy points per game, and recent 21, 39, and 31 at about 21.73% ownership. The Y is touch count, explosive efficiency, and leverage via 2 RB spend-ups alongside Taylor in favorable overall matchups. The news is supportive with DFS analyst Mike McClure, spotlighting him and multiple pieces discussing Week 8 builds, plus non-QB MVP buzz. We are prioritizing raw ceiling and correlation with game environment. Defense is a pivot. We are moving off yesterday's Texans and onto the Falcons' defense at 3,500 against Miami, who have one of the worst defenses overall at opponent rank 27. Projection is 7 with recent outputs of 4, 9, and 4, and ownership at 7.97%. The Y is price-adjusted access to return and pressure scoring in a spot that allows us to maintain ceiling elsewhere. If you need a punt, the Dolphins' defense at 2,200 versus Atlanta, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall at opponent rank 19, projects 5 at 2.33% ownership. That is strictly for lineups that spend up at multiple premium spots and need savings. Quick recap of changes and holds. We moved back to Jalen Hurts from yesterday's Baker leverage because sub 5% ownership in a matchup against one of the worst defenses overall, combined with stabilizing A.J. Brown news, and a recent perfect game makes the ceiling plus floor combo too strong midweek. We reversed running back to Jonathan Taylor on unrivaled touch count dominance with favorable news support, while retaining Kyle Monangai as a deep value dart. We held Jamar Chase and Marvin Mims Jr. for their ceiling plus price combinations with supportive news. We flipped tight end to Evan Engram for salary and the absolute worst defense overall on the other side, backed by positive team-building reports. We pivoted flex back to Bijan Robinson to stack elite RB ceilings in favorable overall matchups. And we moved defense to the Falcons for fair price and scoring paths, with the Dolphins as the punt. We will keep tracking ownership and late news. As always, our Y is anchored in matchup language, role, price-adjusted ceiling, and the current news cycle that supports each projection.